put a 1 incline. That's how I start. And depending, if I'm on a conference call where I'm usually just listening, I'll put the incline a little bit higher and then maybe put a little bit more speed. But if it's a conference call where I'm doing some of the speaking, then I leave it at 2 and incline of 1. That works great.
So you enjoy using this when you're on a conference call?
Best thing, the best thing. So since I had my son, I've always had lower back problems, and I definitely know it's from being behind a desk for 25 years. Sounds awful, I know. I've had a desk job for 25 years, and so that's really what has made it worse, is sitting down all day. Probably 2 to 3 up to 6 hours a day I'm on conference calls. So this was just an ideal solution for me. You know, a big plus for this is because I'm concentrating on either working on spreadsheets or reading email, or, you know, this is another time that I like to focus on reading the publications to stay, you know, current with my industry. The time just flies by. You're not focused on the workout. You're focused on whatever you're doing besides the workout. And an hour goes by before I know it. So what I've been doing is I can easily do 2 hours on this every day without any effort.
So I understand that your company is self-insured.
Yeah, we've been self-insured for about 5 years now. And basically, because we're taking on the risk of all the health claims, our HR department works with the employees to, you know, promote wellness and really make sure that people are staying healthy, because obviously that hits our bottom line, the less health claims we pay. So what we've been doing is doing incentives in order for the employees to be healthy, and this is a great way to do it. You put these treadmills throughout, and you ask the employees to maybe do a half hour every day, or maybe depending on how much they do, they can get a credit back in their payroll for staying healthy.
When I'm talking to potential new customers, and especially in the large companies, is they'll mention that they want to make a purchase. They want to buy the treadmill, buy the desk, because they actually think it's an asset for the company.
What you want to do is lease these. Again, because I'm not in the business of making treadmills. If it breaks down, it's going to be a hefty cost. I won't know if they're doing a good job or not. And so the ideal thing is to lease this with the maintenance agreement and to rent it on a monthly basis. You know, now you're committing and using your capital dollars for assets that, you know, what if for whatever reason in 6 months, I don't know, you sell the company and then you're stuck with a bunch of treadmills. So it's ideal to rent. Again, you're not taking on that capital burden, and you just make it an operational expense. And obviously, if you're doing an annual budget, put it in your budget for next year, and that's the easiest way to do it.
So I noticed when you got on the treadmill, you just slipped off your high heels and you're walking on your socks. Do you like walking in your socks?
You know what? I prefer it over sneakers. I have worked out of the workstation with sneakers, and I actually prefer either being in my socks or barefoot. And you know, sometimes you forget your sneakers, forget to bring them to work, and it's no problem. And the one thing I have had to do is I just make my font a little bit larger.
Oh, so while you're walking on the treadmill desk, you make your font a little bit larger, so it just makes it that much easier to read?
Exactly.
Oh, good idea.
It just, you know, when you're moving a little bit more, you just want to have it. Yeah, the time just flies by when I'm doing this treadmill. And I can do it every day, minimum an hour I've been doing. And I don't know if you've been posting, there's a lot of write-ups, Journal of Medicine, that this actually is better than the stand-up desks that kind of was the trend a few years back. They've actually done studies that this actually helps you with your lower back.